Good morning, everybody. Time once again to continue my project of doing all of the daily targets from CSS Battle, CSSBattle.dev. These are from March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of 2024. Let's get right to it. Let's get right to it. What are these shapes? What is the shape here? What do we got here? I mean, it's a ladybug, right? It's great. The question is this all backgrounds? Is this all on the body? Are there elements involved? These are the kind of questions that come to me. Let's put a color on the body, and let's put a margin on our single element. I think we will use one element. If we put an aspect ratio, so we got a color, and I guess we do need what? We need a linear gradient at least, because we have that sliced color. Left to right, 90 degrees, and we go red, and then this other color, right? And that's actually not color, but background. Still waking up. All right, and then 50%. And then the color, so that's the first color stop, and then the second color stop. So you get an even match. So we'll do aspect ratio 1. And that gets you a square. Oh, and then we also get a background pink because that was hanging out. All right, so let's do border radius of 50%. That's fine. And I am going to use display flex. Display flex to justify content. This is to center things, align content. Align items, rather. So justify content and align items. That duo is really useful. And when we do that, we see that it's not perfectly centered, right? So the body of this is slightly lower, and then the dark head is slightly higher. So you can't use the dead center aspect of any of the different parts of this, right? You justifying its center or having a background that's an element, you're going to have to move it in some way using either at for a radial gradient or using background position. So let's not do the display flex. Let's set some margins. Margin 100 auto, and that'll align it in the center. And we do 2. Okay, and then let's make it a little bigger. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 140, 150. So it's 150 wide, and it's 100 down, or 90 down there, something like that. It's not too bad. Not too bad. So we've got a head underneath. Now that we started with the body, any new element that we add another one, which we could do. Here's that second element. We do a background of black. Blah, 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 blah. We do a margin to move it up. So minus 100, 0, 0, 0. We move it up even more. It's going to be on top of it. That's no good. And I guess in theory we could, z-index our way out of it, but sometimes that doesn't work in the way we wish, unless we put a z-index probably on the element itself. And even then, sometimes it's not going to do what we wish. Actually, no, we z-index, we want 1. Yeah, minus 1, and then that z-index is 1. We're trying to move it, and it's just not doing it, right? Probably because we need a position relative or some, other nonsense, and we don't want any of that stuff. Let's just not do it that way. Forget it. Don't do it. Now we might, mind you, use another technique. We might use another element. So if we do this, and then we set a width and height. And height. And then let's make sure we got a width as well here. Right. And then let's make margin, rather than 90 auto, 90 100, 110, 120, 125, oh, 115, 117. There it is. And we'll make that a variable. Var m. So then our subsequent key can be the dots. Minus, what do we do? Minus 200. There's our little dot, and it's not big enough. Maybe it's 20. And then let's move it around a little more. Let's add 100 here to that margin. 20, 30, 40, 45, 41, 42, something like that. And then another 5, 205 minus 205. What? 205 minus 205. Okay. And then I removed one of the zeros. That would do it. But we could do the dots with a box shadow, right? I think we can. Let's see it. And what's great is that the default color for any HTML document is black, and so that's going to be this hash mark 6 zeros, which is also hash mark 3 zeros. So we do box shadow. What? 50 pixel 0. There's a dot. Great. 50, 60, 70, 80. So that's the first dot. Let's do more dots. 20 pixels, 40 pixels, something like that. Too far over. How about 10 over? How about 15 over? 15 and 30. And then we'll go downward. So also 15 pixels over, and then maybe it's 40 pixels down, 50, 60. And let's do another one. Let's make this one 50 pixels over, 30 pixels down. We already know what the downs are, so let's do 50 pixels and then 60 pixels. Oh, and we're not over far enough. Make it 60, 65, 65, and now we got dots. Here's your dots. So this second paragraph tag, that's our guy. That is a whole fleet of ladybug dots. All right, next, the only thing we got less ahead, which is underneath, and we can do that in the background. Radial, gradient, circle, circle. Let's type the word circle. Also black. Let's call it 20 pixels radius, and then that. And as you can see, that's not what we want. We need a color stop, but then it's underneath, so we need to move it. And we have two choices. We can do at 50%, 10 pixels. That gives us a thing right there, right? So that's one choice. The other thing we can do is move it. So 50% is the middle, left to right, and then do that. 30, 40, 50, 60. There it is, the little head peeking up. And that's, I kind of like that. You don't have to do the at sign. Let's increase the radius. 30 pixels. Boom. That's your guy. What can we remove? Well, we don't need that Z index, do we? No, we sure don't. We can variabilize height and width bar. Height, let's say height or 150. And can we do an aspect ratio? Let's do aspect ratio 1. And then we can remove width from the dots, and it still works. Height, we can make -h. And then this needs a background, so we can variabilize that. Var -b, or that background, that linear gradient. So we can do dash dash B here. And we still need the box shadow. We don't need a trailing semicolon. We're all good there. Let's unit replace and minify, and we're done. I think this is 100% match. Still, we're all done. That's a fun one. And I did better than I did whenever I did this last. That's fun. That's fun. Yeah, who doesn't like to make a ladybug using HTML and CSS? I would challenge even the most jaded web developer. All right, this guy's interesting. This makes me think that I could use scale transform to make one element and then just scale it up. Can I do it? Let's find out. Let's find out. I don't have a lot of confidence that this is true, but it might be true. So have a paragraph tag, right? Let's give it a height and a width. Width 10, let's say, right? And let's use 5, 6, 7, 8, 100, okay, and 70. Okay, so it's 10 by 100. If I do display flex, then they are right next to each other. And then if I further do align item center and justify content center, well, I don't want that, do I? I do. What I want. So I'm going to do margin 0, just because I think I'm going to need those margins later. That's applying the default margin. So what happens if I add a gap? And I guess I ought to do a border radius. Border radius. Border radius. Border dash radius is the problem. I need that, not border colon radius. If it's 10, so it's probably 5 pixels. Okay. So that's our start. So what if I scale the second element? So that's a transform, right? Scale 2. Twice as big. Well, 1 doesn't do anything. There's 2. How about 1.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.6, and then increase the gap. 1, 2, 3. Not quite. Unless I did something goofy, which, would I ever do something goofy? Yeah, maybe I would. So 1.7, 1.8, 1.9, 2, 1.6. This is not looking good, right? This is just not, it's not, well, I don't love it. I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I don't think the border radius works. I think we're warping because we're making it wider. It doesn't have the same aspect ratio, so I think that makes the border radius a problem. Now we could tweak that. We can say, what if we used a Q value there, which I think is based on the container, 6, 7, or just made it so big that it doesn't, that it kind of works. And then this 1.7, so 2 seems correct on the x-axis, but the y, maybe it needs to be 1.5, no, 0.6, 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, 5.8, 5.9. Then it starts looking like the scale business is not working. But let's just stick with it. We'll do box shadow to make these other ones. And we're going to be on the what? On the x-axis. On the y, the x-axis is where these box shadows are. So 100 pixels, solid. Box shadow, 100 pixels, 0. And then I guess we need to be that pink. So let's do 50. All right. And then the second one, so that's the big one. That works for the big one. And then this one is what, 100, 200, 300, 230, 40, 50. Not loving that. Not loving that really. No, sir, I don't like it. So is there a win that can be gotten for doing the rest of this? To me, how about an inset? Since we're all in on box shadow, and really, well, I'm not even sure that this border radius is going to work. So this is all we might have to throw all this away. That's, you know, it happens sometimes. 50 pixels, 50 pixels, inset. Oh, fascinating. That body inset box shadow is not doing what I would expect it to do. That body is, oh, because we've got margins. What if we do padding instead? Does that put things where we want them? Almost. How about a margin 0? This is falling apart. We say, oh, this is not working very well. But you see kind of what I'm getting at here. I'm sneaking up on getting these colors here. And so let's do another inset gradient. I'm kind of all in at this point, as goofy as this solution is, and I do think it's very goofy. If I make each of these negative, then I get kind of get what I want there. So then it's a matter of a background, right? Background. And if I do a background that is a conic gradient that gets you, this square here, the purple or the dark, the deep purple, so conic gradient. And that's going to be inward in 70, and then down 90, and and it's going to have a width actually, so, and it's going to have a height as well, 100 pixels, background, no repeat. And this is definitely one we're going to do with some outlandish colors so that we can actually see what the heck we're doing. 75%. There it is. And we need at 10 pixels, 10 pixels, comma. All right, so over more. 100. Nope. 80. And then down. 20. And then we let it repeat. No, it's going to be wider, don't we? We need to be 200 wide. Ooh. 200 wide. That's not working. Oh, actually we are. That's perfect. Let it repeat. Okay. How do you make that work, Joe? Well, I've been doing this a while, and my goofy ideas sometimes work. This is a lot of code. I don't think it's a great solution, but I'm going to submit it anyway, and we're going to see whether we nailed it. Again, these little edges, not great. That's 100% match, and I'm going to take it. It's a strange solution, but it's also, I view it as a funny solution, so I'll take it. I'm not ashamed of that at all. We could variabilize this box shadow, new var, D for distance. And so on the second one, we can do --D, 60 pixels. Yeah, fine. Goofy as that is. Or are there other? So yeah, that scale of 2 space 1.59 is not good. And I certainly don't like the appearance of that in the diff. I mean, it looks fine when you scroll over it as far as it goes, but I have a mistrust of that curve. Fine. All right. Let's go elements. Let's go elements on this guy. We'll just do elements every which way. Let's call this 3 elements, plonk, 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 and each one is a little different. A, B, and C. Definitely getting some Prince vibes on this particular thing, and let's do. We'll do 3. So A, and we're not going to do in the order you think I'm going to do, and that's fine. A is this circle border, and we're going to have them be margin 0 auto. Fine. The border is what? 20 pixels solid red. Width 100. Maybe that width is 80, huh? 80. Maybe that width is 70. How about 65? And then the height, also 65. And then the margins here at the top, 5, 6. Not really explaining what I'm doing here, but you can kind of figure it out. I think that width is a little different, isn't it? It's 62. 62 and 62. Let's do a border. Border radius. 50%. Ooh, it's close. It's close, but not quite right. Let's remove that background. Plump. So that's close, isn't it? How about 60 and 60? Yeah, that's fine. All right, and now B is going to be the background of the color. And he's got clip path. Clip path, polygon. What's it going to be? 0. A polygon of 0, 0. Not 0, 0, 0. 100% 0. 50%, 100%. Here's your triangle. Great. So what's our width? Our width is some different number, isn't it? Width is 100. Okay. The width is wrong. 120, 130, 140, 150. Could be 150. And then our height is some other number. Height is 100. 80. Not 800. 80. All right, now we need different margins. Margin 0. 10 auto. 20, 30, 40. Okay. Is it goofy? Yes, it's goofy. But I like it. We're getting it done. Let's see. So the next guy, C. Let's make his width 20. And his margins are going to be like -100. Auto. Background. Let's make that background pink so that we can see it. There it is. How about -200? I guess that height's a little high. But if we change this margin, then Doesn't matter. 1.6. Yeah. And that's roughly how we do it. Maybe we want to do -165. I think there's a little coverage there. So let's submit that and see if we got it. So that's 100% match. And then let's remove the A here. So then if we do P here, it all breaks down. So we need that attribute, and that's cool. I'm gonna put this margin here, and I need to put the A here. And let's remove a little bit of code at least, even though, you know, that's all fine. This is working code. Let's minify and, you know, replace and resubmit. And that's it. That's how we do it. That's a fun set of retro CSS battles. I'm about 65% along on my project to do all of these various daily targets on video. I'm certainly enjoying doing them, and I enjoy taking a different approach each time I do them. And I hope you enjoy them. And I hope you're having a great day, and I hope you take care of yourselves, and I hope you make a web page. Make a dang web page, because web pages are great. Share them with your friends. Tell your point of view. Talk about your favorite anything, and share it with your friends. You can host your own stuff. It's not that expensive. It's not that hard to do, and it's better than sharing on these silos. I know you're watching me on the YouTube right now, but don't watch YouTube. Get your own. Make your own. Make a better YouTube. Make a freer YouTube. Make a less algorithmic YouTube. The world needs it. It really does. All right. Later. Bye.